Okay, so what are carbohydrates? Now, carbohydrates are one of your three macronutrients, and all of them, as we've discussed before, are very important for the body. So if you start to cut some out, it's going to be pretty bad in the long term. So when it comes to carbs, people have got this idea that carbs and sugars are these bad things. These are the things that make us fat and all that stuff. So I want to dispel that idea that anything that you consume in large amounts is going to contribute to weight gain, plain and simple. Carbohydrates are not your enemy. In fact, they're very beneficial for you. And after this slide, you should have a good respect for them and understand why it's necessary for you to not be afraid of them and also to get them within your actual diet and for a balanced nutritional lifestyle. So carbohydrates are going to be your primary and optimal fuel source of the body. Human beings are hardwired to run on carbohydrates. That's why we crave things like sugar and carb-dense foods. It's not a surprise. It's just how we are. Now, when it comes down to it, these carbs are going to be broken down into sugars, glucose, which is then put into the bloodstream, absorbed into the body, where it is then used as energy. Nice and simple. Because it's very easy to break down, the body loves to utilize it. It's a lot easier to break down for energy as opposed to things like proteins and fats. So that's why our body is really into carbohydrates. Now, they're fast-burning fuels. Based on the GI level, this is going to be either more or less so, and we'll talk about GI in the future. But essentially, if you're using carbohydrates for strenuous activities like sport, or even if you're coming to the gym, you've got fitness testing, or you just want a good output for that session, eating certain carbohydrates is really going to help you have the energy to kind of perform in those workouts. Now, another thing with carbohydrates is these are going to be a massive intake of your vitamins and minerals. Most of this is coming from carbs, and if you're not eating carbohydrates, especially things like fruit and veg, you are going to be missing out on these vitamins and minerals. Now, whilst we use macronutrients and calories and that kind of thing as basic building blocks for the body, to make your body run well, you need vitamins and minerals. So skimping on carbs is going to cut those out of your diet, which is going to be bad in the long term. They vary in GI levels, as we just talked about before. But GI is basically going to be how long it takes them to break down and be absorbed into the body. Now, there's a video on this in the future, so I won't go too much into it. But suffice to say, there's a bit of versatility here because of the varying GI levels, so carbs can be used for different situations. Another thing about carbohydrates is they are main source of fiber. So fiber actually acts like a scrubbing brush in your internal organs or into your digestive system. Goes through your body, clears out all the mess, and then keeps you regular, but also wards off gut issues. So things like certain cancers and other gut problems come from stuff building up within the digestive system, and the fiber basically acts like a scrub brush to clean it out. So basically breaking it down, carbs are going to be the thing that human beings are hardwired to really run on and love to run on. They contain most of your vitamins and minerals. They're used for strenuous activities and good for fuel and energy, and they're also your main source of fiber. So just looking at this and going, look, carbohydrates aren't my enemies, but if they're abused, of course, they're going to have negative effects on me. However, these things are very beneficial, and you want them in your diet. Plus, they also taste the best. So if we can learn to coexist with them, surely that's the better option.